Hey, so if you've never watched the swing of Mike Austin, my mentor, then you're in for a real treat. I really recommend that either use the resources on my channel or just do a cursory YouTube search, come up with some videos and watch Mike Austin swing. It's really amazing. I really believe, as did a lot of other people, that he had the greatest power swing in golf history. Now, he couldn't putt very well, and that's probably why you haven't heard of him as a tournament player. But there's not a doubt that he had a swing that was so powerful, but yet so smooth and fluid and effortless. He could put it out there a long way, but you could never tell if he was really laying up or going for it. Now, Mike always used to say that he based his swing on leverage and, quote, not winding up your body like a goddamn rubber band, which he feels like a lot of the tour players do today, and that's not only less advantageous than he feels his swing was, but also potentially more injurious to the lower spine and the rest of the joints of the body. Now, the primary thing that Mike did differently was in his pivot. He had what he called a compound pivot, which is not widely used in professional golf today. What's interesting is the move is actually so much simpler than anybody realizes. In fact, you already know how to do this because you've been doing it all your life. So right after this, let me show you how easy it is to tap into this extra leverage from using the Mike Austin pivot. Don't go away. Hey, this is Steve with HitItLonger.com. I'm continuing my journey to hit it longer and straighter, not only off the tee, but all the way down the fairway to the green, because controlling the ball like that for 18 holes really makes golf fun. So, hey, if you'd like to pick up some yardage and make golf a little more fun this season, by all means join us. Hit the subscribe button, like this video at the end if you got some benefit, and please leave a comment down below. It really helps. All right, so we're talking about the Mike Austin compound pivot. Now, the basics of it are that you are going to take the right hip on the rear hip on the backswing, and you're actually going to push it outside the foot. Actually, what some people might consider a slide or a sway. It's not, because my head is staying in the center, but I'm going to push that right hip outside the heel like this. I'm going to flex my left knee towards the middle, and I'm going to roll my left foot to an inside pressure, just like this. So now, not only am I able to utilize my spine as an axle, like this, where it goes round and round, turning our body, but I can actually use it as a lever. This is the longest lever in the body, here. So you see, I now have levered my spine into place, pointing it right through the right knee, so it feels very in balance like this. Then on the downswing, I would simply spring off of this and go into the opposite move and get tilted this way. Now you probably see a lot of tour players and good players ending up with the tilt going this way. It's pretty natural to do that. What they just simply don't do is the opposite windup. What makes this so simple to learn is you've actually been doing this since you were a year old. So when you first got off the floor and you started to walk, you actually started practicing the Mike Austin pivot all this time. So here's how that works. Mike used to talk about this all the time. If I just simply take a walking step, let's say with my right foot, you see, as I pick the left foot up to take another step, I'm going to have to temporarily center myself over that foot to stay in balance. So it would look something like this: step and push to the right, step and push to the left, step, push to the right. See, this knee is flexed, this knee is straight, and my hip has gone outside of my heel, putting my belt buckle over my right heel. So I can stand on one leg in balance as I step and pivot this way. You see, I'm on a 1 foot balance while my head is still between my feet. Now, of course, this is a funny way of walking for most men, but with women, with their hip structure generally a little bit wider, their hips tend to swing out a little more pronounced, and you get what might call the runway walk this way. We'll do it this way at my peril. So right foot, swing, left foot, swing, and if I did it fast, it would look like the runway walk, where you're making your hips go side to side even more than usual, just to get that, the models will get kind of that sense of, you know, swaying going on. Men, of course, we have a little bit narrower hips, and generally we are discouraged from allowing our hips to swing back and forth quite a bit. So we kind of tone it down as we grow up, but still the effect is there, even though it's a little bit more subdued. But watch as I just walk normally, you're still seeing the navel swing slightly from side to side. Even in a regular walk, you see a little bit of side to side swinging of the hips as one knee flexes and the other knee straightens. So you've got all the elements of the Mike Austin pivot already built into a walking step. The same thing would be said to what I call the standing in line position. So imagine if you're standing in line at the bank or the supermarket and your legs are starting to get tired. Maybe you pick up a magazine and you kind of stand like this, put your hand on your hip. This is a pretty comfortable way to stand. This is a very common way of standing. Then when this leg gets tired, it'll kind of switch over, and I'll just, if I'm waiting for a long time, I have to stand for a long time. Notice what I've done here. I've shifted my pelvis over on top of the left heel. I can actually stand on one leg right now. So I just might have my hand on my hip, and I get tired, I kind of switch back like this. And again, check this out. Since I've pushed my right hip outside the heel, I can actually stand on one leg in this position. So it's kind of like we're letting one leg rest, and the other leg is going to support all the weight of the body, again, by swinging the lower end of the spine to and fro. Now this is all we're doing in the Austin pivot. The last thing we're adding is simply the in roll of the feet, like this. So in a walking step, you can see I've got the heel lift, I've got the knee flex, the other knee is straight, and the hip is pushed to the side. So the only thing I'm missing is a little bit of inward roll or inward pressure onto the feet. Think about that, how you've already learned how to do this, but through golf magazines, golf instruction, you've really probably been taught to really lock it in. Keep that knee flexed, lock it in, try to make a big wind up around a small hip turn, not get that extra leverage, which also allows the potential for a bigger turn and more power, as well as potentially winding up more weight, more mass on this side of the center line, making this foot more weightless, so I can crash down onto this foot like a 100-mile-an-hour fastball thrower in baseball, really knock the ball out there, but not have to feel like I'm trying that hard to do it. All right, so one more look at the walking step with the foot. This way, walking step with the foot rolling in. All right, let's give it a try with the swing, and we'll slow it down, draw some fancy lines on the screen so you can kind of see everything that's going on. Looking at it in slow-mo, you can really see the lines I've drawn down from my hips vertically to the ground, and you can definitely see how my hips work outside of the yellow line. So hey, I hope you'll give this method a try. I think you'll see the benefits after you practice it for a little bit of time, and once you do, I hope you'll come back to this video, leave a comment, let me know how you did. Or maybe you ran into a pitfall along the way and you'd like to ask a question. I'm going to head back to my walking step exercise, but again, thanks so much for watching. I'm Steve. Head over to my website, hititlonger.com, for a lot more great content that I think will push your golf game forward in the future. And as usual, hey, I'll either see you in the next video or I'll see you longer and straighter down the fairway. Everybody take good care.